Did you know that for decades, the federal government has been making plans to store all of the nation's spent nuclear waste at a facility only about 100 miles from Las Vegas? This is Yucca Mountain. It's a site next to the Nevada Test and Training Range, which is part of a military base where throughout the 1950s and 60s, the government conducted several above-ground nuclear weapons detonations, including many that were visible from the Las Vegas Strip itself. And since the 1980s, federal officials have sought a single location to store all of the nation's spent nuclear waste, which today comes primarily from nuclear power plants. Yucca Mountain has been the target for that repository since 1987, but the project has only made minimal progress because of legal challenges and bipartisan opposition from Nevada's congressional delegation. Those opposed to the project say that a repository in Yucca Mountain would be in direct conflict with Las Vegas's tourism-based economy, arguing that if any truck or train were to derail or overturn, it could cause an environmental disaster that would have a drastic effect on Sin City's reputation as a world-class travel destination. There are also concerns because Yucca Mountain sits on multiple fault lines. But with more than 85,000 tons of waste already in need of permanent storage, as well as a renewed push from officials on both sides of the aisle to use nuclear power to combat climate change, officials say a long-term solution is needed. Which brings us to last week, when the LA Times reported that Nevada Republican U.S. Senate candidate Sam Brown told a group of supporters in 2022 that failing to restart Yucca Mountain would be a quote-unquote incredible loss of revenue for the state. Brown has since told the Nevadan he is not committed to opening Yucca Mountain, but that he would consider, quote, all thoroughly vetted proposals. But that hasn't stopped Nevadans from both sides of the aisle from criticizing Brown. Brown's comments also come as a document written by advisors to former President Donald Trump, called Project 2025, proposes restarting and advancing Yucca Mountain should Trump win the presidency again in November. President Joe Biden's administration, meanwhile, has told Congress on multiple occasions it does not support the Yucca Mountain project and instead supports researching a new repository site that has support from local stakeholders. So what would you do if you were in charge of storing the nation's spent nuclear waste? Found this video helpful? Please remember to like and subscribe to The Nevadan for news you can use.